All right, thanks for being with us. Mike Catalano, along with Dan Fates. Dan, the NFL always makes news, right? There's always something going on. Today, they made it official. Starting this season, whenever they play it all out, the playoffs will be expanded. 7 teams in each side. Your thoughts?
I'll be the stick in the mud and say I don't like it. And I mean it for the sense that I feel like you're just going to water down that joy of making the playoffs, that earning a playoff spot. I think they went from before only having 37% of the league make it. Now they're going to go up to 43% of the league. Almost half the league, 14 out of the 32 teams are going to make the playoffs. I think that takes something away from earning a playoff spot.
Yeah, the part I don't like about it is only one team in each conference gets the bye. I like that it was set up that way with 2. I thought that was fair. I thought that was a great honor, I guess, would be for the top teams. And you really have to earn that. Look at what the Chiefs did last year. Right. I loved having the 2 teams with a bye. But they wanted those extra games. The owners wanted that extra money. You had to add only one team in each side and take away a bye in order to make it work. If you add 2, it doesn't work. Right. Then no one gets a bye. So they did it this way. But I will say that I like the old way. The NFL had it great. But the NFL, no matter what they do, it usually ends up working.
Right. And then it's interesting. So they're making a couple more changes to the draft. They're staying on course with the draft. As of right now, there are multiple reports saying that the league's going to stay on schedule. They're still going to have their 17-week season. They're going to have a regular season in front of full fans, and that everything's going to be status quo. But they will make some changes to the draft, Mike, starting with only having 10 people in the war room 6 feet apart.
You know what that's good about is when the owner wants to bring his buddy into the room.
Get away.
Now they can say, nope, we're only allowed 10.
Yep.
Right? There's only an amount of people. I guess Jerry Jones still gets to stay in the Cowboys war room, right?
I guess so.
He must make the top 10.
Or he's on his bus.
But that's true. But the other part about that, too, is they're talking about maybe adding a couple minutes in order for teams to make trades. I guess I sort of get that, except there's only part of me thinking, well, it's not like they've been making these trades while sitting right next to each other. Telephones still work.
Right. They weren't sending pigeons back and forth trying to do it last year.
The setup for the teams with each other should be no different.
Right.
I don't think at all, right? It's more about how maybe they communicate with the player when they're going to make the pick. And maybe you don't need more than 10 people in the room. I'll put it this way. If you have more than 10 people in the room, too many voices are being heard when it comes time to pick.
And maybe this, again, is just my sense of why the NFL, and I get it, they're trying to stay status quo and trying to keep everything as normal as possible. But I look at a league like the MLB, which never wants to change at all. They're talking about double headers. They're talking about how they're going to change all of this stuff. The NFL, Mike, is like, nope, we're going to try and change as little as possible.
Well, they're arrogant. They're the most arrogant league, and they've been able to get away with it. I like how they say we've talked to experts, and we believe our plan to start the season. I'm thinking, who are these experts? And if they really know, they should be in charge right now because no one else really knows when it's going to be okay. I do think behind the scenes they have to be thinking or talking about things like
backup plans,
training camps where players tested. I mean, I have to say this on a daily basis before they can enter the facility. I'm trying to think of ways that the games in some form could come back before we even talk about actual, when I say football comes back, before we can talk about the games and then maybe actually even letting fans in the stadium.
They also added that, Mike, he talks about, testing players that walk in the facility. They will test those 10 people that are coming into the war room will have to have their temperature taken. They said nobody with a fever or a respiratory illness is allowed in the war room. But the draft's still going to go on.
It'll go on. The other part about that, we talk about the schedule and them saying to keep it going, is the fact that I do believe there's been some talk about if they needed to push it back and then extending the schedule all the way through. You could be playing games into February.
Love it.
And then maybe you have it in March right before the NCAA tournament.
I love it. And I wish, and again, things have, spiraled out of control in the sports world. But I was almost kind of that one that was hoping that the NCAA tournament, they would just be like, all right, we're going to push it back to July. And then we could all have that little carrot to look out after. And then they could say, well, we're going to push it back to to August. And then if they canceled it then, I'd be fine. But I feel like that's what the NFL is trying to do, is to just say, hey guys, we're going to play football. No matter what it is, we're going to play football, because I think that's what they really want, the message they want to get across.
Look, they're trying to show the old games. I will say they showed that Rams Chiefs game from a couple of years ago. Even I've missed football so much, I still could not watch any game where Jason Witten was calling the game on ESPN. I don't care how much I miss football.
And he's going to be in Vegas, and he's still playing. He's back in the league now. He was out of the league, but now he's back.
Well, we hope there's a league for him to come back to. At least it keeps him out of the booth. Anyhow, the latest update on what's going on with the NFL, the draft is the next thing. The schedule comes out in May, and then we'll see if any of that applies. Well, thanks to all of you for watching us here on Buffalo Plus. Check out all our content as we get set for the rest of free agency, leading right into the draft.